There's an Australia that rarely makes the headlines. It doesn't boast skyscrapers, traffic jams, or sprawling suburbs. It moves slower, speaks softer, and lives deeper. This is the Australia found down winding country roads and tucked between mountain ranges and coastlines, the one built on corner pubs, century-old bakeries, and verandas that catch the afternoon light just right. These are the small towns where charm isn't curated, it's lived, where stories are etched into old shop fronts and passed between generations over morning coffee. In these places, beauty isn't just something to see, it's something you feel. It's in the way communities come together during bushfires, in the quiet pride of a town that's outlived the railway, and in the creative sparks that flicker in unexpected corners. Today, we're not looking at the big cities. We're diving deep into the most charming small towns in Australia, not just because they're beautiful, but because they tell stories. Stories of gold rushes and shipwrecks, vineyards and artists, resilience and reinvention. 1. Braidwood, New South Wales. Let's begin in Braidwood, a heritage-listed town nestled between Canberra and the south coast. With a population of just over 1,600, this town is frozen in time, and deliberately so. Braidwood was the first entire town in Australia to be listed on the National Estate Register for its remarkably preserved Georgian architecture. Every building, every corner cafe feels like a page from an old book. But beneath the colonial facades lies a modern community of artists, greenies, and off-grid dreamers. The average property price in Braidwood rose by 28% between 2020 and 2023, according to CoreLogic. Why? Because city dwellers are craving charm, and Braidwood has it in spades. Heritage preservation has not just protected its buildings, it's safeguarded its identity. And yet, the charm isn't without its tension. Locals fiercely debate development versus preservation. There's a quiet resistance to gentrification here, making Braidwood a battleground for the soul of regional Australia. 2. Dalesford, Victoria. With only around 2,700 residents, Dalesford feels more like a retreat than a town. Perched in the foothills of the Great Dividing Range, it's Australia's premier spa destination. But Dalesford's charm goes deeper than hot springs and mineral waters. Once a gold rush town in the 1850s, Dalesford later became a sanctuary for creatives and LGBTQ communities. This has shaped a deeply inclusive artistic vibe that permeates everything from its vintage markets to its famed Lake House restaurant, often ranked among Australia's best regional dining spots. The local economy thrives on wellness tourism, which contributes an estimated $100 million annually to the Hepburn Shire. But this success is also a double-edged sword. Rising home prices are displacing some locals, and there's a growing reliance on casual tourism work. Still, Dalesford remains a rare blend of beauty and acceptance, serenity, and creativity. 3. Stanley, Tasmania. At the tip of Tasmania's northwest coast lies Stanley, population 553. That's not a typo. It's a town where the wind howls, the waves crash, and the ghost of Van Diemen's Land lingers in the salt air. Stanley's iconic landmark, the Nut, is a 143-meter volcanic plug that towers over the town like a sleeping titan. The charm here is rugged, remote, and raw. Fishing shacks line the coast. Heritage homes cluster around wide streets. And at night, the Southern Ocean roars like a warning and a welcome. Tourism Tasmania reports that Stanley receives over 100,000 visitors annually, nearly 200 times its population. But this isn't just a tourist spot. It's a working fishing town. Locals harvest some of the cleanest seafood in the world, and the economic contribution of the local lobster and scallop fisheries exceeds $30 million per year. Stanley's charm is not about polish, it's about presence. It's a place where time feels thick. You don't just visit Stanley, you experience it. 4. Yakandanda, Victoria. Nestled in Victoria's high country, Yakandanda, affectionately known as Yak to locals, is a town of fewer than 2,000 residents that punches far above its weight in both charm and innovation. Once a bustling gold mining outpost in the 19th century, Yak has transformed itself into a beacon of sustainability and community-led progress. Unlike many towns its size, Yakandanda isn't waiting for top-down solutions. Through grassroots initiatives, the community set an ambitious goal: to run entirely on renewable energy by 2024. They've launched microgrid projects, invested in solar infrastructure, and built a model of what a future-forward town can look like, without losing its soul. But Yak's charm isn't just in its eco-credentials. It's in the preserved stone bridges, heritage facades, and welcoming pubs that tell stories of a slower, sturdier Australia. Each March, the town comes alive during the Yakandanda Folk Festival, drawing thousands and filling the streets with music, art, and shared celebration. What makes Yak truly remarkable is its ability to evolve without erasing itself. It stands as a living example that small towns can be both deeply rooted and radically forward-thinking. And that charm and change don't have to be opposites. 5. Hondorf, South Australia. About 30 minutes from Adelaide lies Hondorf, Australia's oldest surviving German settlement. With a population of just over 3,000, it draws more than 1 million visitors a year, a staggering ratio. Why? Charm, yes, but also character. Hondorf wears its history proudly. You can still eat bratwurst under timber-beamed inns, buy cuckoo clocks, and stroll under elm-lined streets planted in the 1800s. Yet, it's not kitsch. The town's preservation of German-Australian culture is deeply authentic. According to Tourism Research Australia, Hondorf contributes over $120 million annually to the local economy, largely from food and wine tourism. But the town is also home to emerging Aboriginal cultural experiences and art galleries that reflect a broader heritage. It's charming because it feels like a place where multiple stories live. Immigrant resilience, First Nations roots, and contemporary creativity, all coexisting, sometimes uneasily, always vibrantly. 6. Margaret River, Western Australia. Margaret River is barely a town by population standards, just under 7,500 people. But its influence is global. This coastal paradise produces over 20% of Australia's premium wine, despite accounting for just 3% of the country's grape production. Tourism WA reports that over 1.5 million people visit Margaret River each year, driven by its unique blend of world-class wineries, surf breaks, limestone caves, and ancient Kerry forests. But Margaret River isn't just a playground for wine lovers and surfers. It's a case study in environmental stewardship. The region has strict zoning laws to protect its biodiversity, and many vineyards are certified organic or biodynamic. Yet, the charm here is fragile. Rising property prices, up 39% from 2020 to 2023, are pricing out younger locals, and seasonal work shortages challenge the tourism industry. Still, if there's a town where the good life is not just dreamed but lived, between the vines, the waves, and the red dirt, it's here. 7. Coober Pedy, South Australia. No list of charming Australian towns would be complete without the strange, sun-scorched wonder that is Coober Pedy. Located deep in South Australia's outback, this remote mining town of around 1,700 residents has earned its nickname as the opal capital of the world. But what truly sets it apart is how people live, in dugouts, underground homes burrowed into the earth to escape blistering summer temperatures that often soar past 45 degrees Celsius. Above ground, it resembles a lunar colony, stark, surreal, and almost alien. Yet beneath that dust lies something extraordinary. Coober Pedy thrives on its quirks. The town has produced more than $1.5 billion worth of opals, contributing roughly 70% of Australia's supply, and it hums with stories of fortune, grit, and survival. Even more remarkable is its diversity. Home to residents from over 45 nationalities, Coober Pedy blends cultures in surprising ways: subterranean Serbian Orthodox churches, Italian cafes, Aboriginal art studios, and traces of Afghan cameleers who once helped open the desert. Coober Pedy redefines charm. It isn't polished, it's elemental, unforgettable, and deeply human. 8. Melennia, Queensland. Tucked into the lush hills of the Sunshine Coast hinterland, Melennia is more than just a scenic escape. It's a community built on intention. With a population of just under 4,000, this small Queensland town feels like a rainforest utopia, complete with misty mornings, rolling pastures, and a fiercely independent spirit. But Melennia's beauty goes far beyond its landscapes. It's a place where economic values and environmental ethics are stitched into everyday life. Melennia is home to one of the highest concentrations of cooperatives and community-owned businesses in the state. From Melennia Dairies, which famously resisted a corporate buyout to maintain local control, to bookstores, cafes, and grocery co-ops run by residents, the town prioritizes sustainability over profit. The Melennia Community Credit Union, with over $120 million in assets, was founded on principles of equity and environmental care. What makes Melennia charming isn't just its beauty, it's its deliberate way of living, slow, grounded, and full of heart. 9. Strahan, Tasmania. Finally, we return to Tasmania, this time to the windswept west coast and the port town of Strahan, population 645. It's often called Australia's most beautiful frontier town, but beauty here is layered with brutality. Strahan was the port for the infamous Sarah Island penal colony, where convicts endured some of the harshest conditions in the British Empire. Today, the Gordon River cruises bring that history alive, through haunting narratives and misty waterways. But Strahan's charm isn't trapped in the past. The town is also a symbol of environmental activism. In the 1980s, it became the epicenter of the Franklin River Campaign, a protest movement that stopped a massive hydroelectric dam and reshaped Australian environmental politics. Charm here is earned. It's quiet and fog-draped, yes, but it whispers of survival, rebellion, and natural wonder. So what is charm really? Is it cobblestone streets and flower boxes? Artisan bakeries and vintage signage? Not quite. Because the most charming towns in Australia aren't defined by aesthetic alone. Their allure goes deeper, into the marrow of the place. True charm lies in the stories these towns carry, the kind not yet scrubbed clean for a tourist brochure. It's found in their historical depth, in buildings that whisper tales of convicts, gold rushes, migration, and rebellion. It's stitched into the resilience of communities who've chosen not just to live in these places, but to build and defend them. Sometimes against economic decline, sometimes against environmental exploitation, and often against the creeping tide of gentrification. It's also found in a town's self-awareness, its relationship with the land it rests on. Many of these small towns are acutely conscious of the fragile ecosystems they inhabit, and they work to preserve them. And perhaps most importantly, charm emerges from economic imagination. These are places that refuse to fossilize. Instead, they innovate by turning their past into a sustainable future, whether through tourism, arts, agriculture, or renewable energy. Charm, then, is character shaped by context. And in Australia, it's often found far from the CBD, down quieter roads less traveled. More Australians are moving to regional areas than ever before. Between 2020 and 2023, regional migration grew by 15%, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. The reasons are clear. Remote work has untethered people from cities, and the rising cost of urban life has made small-town living more appealing. But as these once sleepy towns absorb new residents seeking space, calm, and community, they face a delicate balancing act: how to stay charming without becoming commodified or losing their identity. The key lies in what these towns have always done best: holding on to their stories, preserving their unique character, and embracing change without erasing the past. Their authenticity is their strength. It's not about replicating the city in miniature. It's about staying true to place, people, and history. So next time you go looking for charm, don't search for perfect. Search for real. A town that knows who it is, that's where the magic lives. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey, give it a like, share it with someone who loves the road less traveled, and don't forget to subscribe for more explorations. See you in the next one.